I'm not saying Travis shouldn't be included in it, but I understand why he's not included. I mean, there are other DBs who had just as good a year. And also, you got to remember, people aren't watching a lot of these voters aren't watching all these games. They're looking at stats. Man, he ain't got but 30 tackles. He ain't got but 3 interceptions. How good is he? This guy's got 51 tackles. This guy's got passes broken up. This guy's got an interception return for a touchdown. This guy.
All your food delivery needs. Make sure you go to Light Snack. That's LYTE snack.com. And make sure for all your deliveries, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you visit Light Snack and they'll deliver it right to your door. And make sure when you get those deliveries, make sure you're ordering those Magic City wings. And remember, their motto, don't forget to lick the sauce.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of No Jazz, NOJASS, which stands for, as you all know, not just another sports show. I am your host, welcoming myself back to the fold with good reason, KD. And, of course, my right, your left, my right, however you see it on whatever platform you're looking at. It might be at the bottom, might be on the top. My man, Tank. What's going on, Tank? Tell the people hello.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm sure everybody's getting ready for Thursday, but before we get to Thursday, we're going to go over what's been going on.
Absolutely. What's been going on in this sports weekend. And before we get with what's been going on, we want to make sure everyone joins us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. Make sure you go to our Facebook group and follow us on Facebook at No Jazz Show, at No Jazz Show. Instagram at noj.a.s, No Jazz Show, where we have been having a ball over at TikTok. And before I get any further, you're going to see a lot of our ads throughout this telecast, but we do have a new sponsor, and I'm going to be wearing...
Just a second, having a difficulty.
I'm sorry?
Let me take care of this technical difficulty right quick.
Yeah, you go ahead while I give that. We have a new sponsor that's coming through for us. Is Exceed Sportswear. And actually Exceed Hip Hop Clothing. EXCEED Hip Hop Clothing. And you can see them Exceed.com. They have all of your apparel that you need. The latest in fashions, the latest in the best sneakers. I actually went the other day and the guys got me a nice pair of Dunks, and I'm more of a Jordan fan when it comes to sneakers. And then the older I get a little bit more on the One Cloud area. But nevertheless, I actually picked up me some Dunks, something I've never actually had. And they actually were kind of fly, I mean, it was something for me. So with that being said, that's Exceed. Make sure you go to Exceed Hip Hop Wear. Or just Exceed. And we'll definitely exceed your expectations. Now, speaking of exceeding expectations, we had a pretty live weekend in football, I will say. We had some Saturday games that saw some shuffles. We saw some people who thought they would be in, and now they're out. Ole Miss couldn't answer the call, keeping Georgia and Alabama lingering. We're going to get to Colorado, but Colorado, man, that Laney guy, he did his thing on him. Travis still had a good game as far as Heisman candidacy was concerned, but he was definitely outshined by Laney. What do you think about that college football weekend, Tank?
I was expecting Ole Miss to pull it out because it's not the Florida that we used to have, and the swamp isn't the swamp like it used to be.
Absolutely.
And I definitely did not expect them to blow them out like that. I was shocked. And
it was closer. It was closer than it ended. But yeah,
Yeah.
it,
And also I didn't expect Alabama to go the way they did.
right.
It was a dud. It That's the thing about college football is something. It's it's volatile. You can't really rely on teams to come through every week like they should, as you can more so in the pros. Because these guys, they got other stuff going on. The girlfriend broke up with them. They didn't pay. They got a test. They got to study for it. They know they're gonna fail. They got other stuff going on. No, they're not all just zeroed in on football. And Colorado, I thought that they were doing their normal. Okay, we down and we'll win it in the second half, but they could not. The defense or lack of defense against the run looked like last year. They were just getting punched in the mouth the whole day. But the one thing that stood out to me about that game, it was one incident. The game was chippy, but they had no call on that cheap shot on Shador. When the guy dove right at his knee
Yeah.
after he got, I mean, that's dirt. That was a dirty play, regardless of error, not just now. In the 70s, it would have been a dirty play. You get away with it like that, but it's still dirty because he was really really out to hurt that dude. I thought he was going to wind up, it looked like he was going to be like Booby Miles in Friday Night Lights when they took him out the last time.
Was a moment. Yeah, yeah. And even if your name is not Shadur Sanders, if your name was Paul Harris at quarterback, when you take 2 steps and your defender who's coming at you had 2 steps himself to kind of slow himself down and brace himself, that young man was definitely like on a mission to do damage. What we try to do is we try to give the kids a little grace, but
but that was just
that was
dirty.
that was definitely, it seemed inches away from possible definite college career ending, and you never know moving forward. So it was definitely one of those things, man. I've seen it play.
I was expecting, I was expecting a fight.
Yeah,
I was expecting a fight. If a fight had broken out, I would have been like, okay, you got to protect your guy because that was just wrong. That was bush league. I mean,
definitely.
That was probably the most egregious cheap shot I've seen in college in I don't know how long.
I will totally agree with that. And it's the thing about having a target on your back, but it's still no excuse. I understand bulletin board stuff and motivation, but it's kind of getting to the area of just like you said, you expected a fight. Were they looking for a fight? Were they looking to get a few Colorado players suspended or because that's the one thing, because you never know what was actually going on in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of getting up late on some tackles and leaving your hand down there a little too long with some pressure on somebody's throat. All of those things, and it's hard to turn on in a game when you say, "Oh, okay, you all want to be chippy today. We got to turn that one on."
Yeah. I mean, because there was a few other little cheap shots that were going on like the whole game. But I mean, when you see a guy, when you see a guy just dive, shot out of a cannon, right? I mean, like, come on, dude. What? I mean, I think he should. The ref should have called that. They should have called that. That should have been unnecessary roughness, roughing the pass or whatever. Because when he flipped him up, I was under the impression. I was like, man, he might have torn a knee ligament or two. Because I'm glad he's all right.
Yeah. Tough kid. I'm almost certain he iced up though. He icing up. He definitely icing up. He definitely icing up. So, and then on to Sunday, there was some definite surprises. There's a question I gotta ask, and I'm gonna bring it up because this is something that I thought about. But Sunday football saw a lot of action as well.
A lot of upsets.
A lot of upsets. And I'll begin with Snow Bowl 2024, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. which showcase he's the mouth of the Midwest now. Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he's a soundbite, man.
He's a soundbite, man. And he's definitely rebranding himself from eating W's. He's getting a little better at turning it around. But he definitely found some redemption in a win against Pittsburgh. Whereas a lot of Pittsburgh players, one in particular, is definitely saying, hey, Cleveland's just not that good. It was snow.
Yeah, George, I can't go with you with that. Yeah, George, I can't go with you about the snow. The snow, I can't do it. No, we were always told when I played, hey, they playing in the same conditions you are.
Right.
Now, it's one thing if your offense is predicated on doing something that type of weather is going to take away from. But it's smash mouth. We run the ball. You want to mutter. So the snow had nothing to do with it because Cleveland was playing in the same thing. I thought it was. I looked at the game 3 times because I was trying to see
purposes or just to look at it.
Just to look because
okay.
Because I wasn't upset like, oh man, I can't believe this. That it was like we played, they played, we moved the ball, they moved the ball. We played. We came back and took the lead in the second half. The defense wasn't able to come through at the end. We had field goals, but it wasn't. We didn't play badly. So I mean, it's like they just but they were in the snow also.
Exactly.
So I won't fault. I mean, we didn't play badly. We played well enough to win, but the last drive we didn't. And I still, obviously there's room for improvement, but I couldn't be distraught or upset like that because they made one more play than we did. Basically, it wasn't like, oh man, the offense didn't show up at all. It's not, and it's a divisional game. It's gonna be like that. I mean,
right.
So it wasn't. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, I can't believe it. Now we got blown out. It would have been different.
Just one of those games. Just one of those games.
Yeah.
I believe even on a good day, sunny day, Cleveland is your division rival. Like they're in your division.
Yes.
It's happened, and they definitely just wanted to win, and it was one of those games where whoever had the ball last was probably going to win the game. And
yeah,
the fortunate side of that was you're backpedaling in the snow, and the man who is going forward has an advantage on you.
Exactly.
From a defensive standpoint. So,
and it goes both ways. So I can't.
And it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Now moving forward to it was like I'm going back over to the NFC. I'm staying in Pennsylvania. Speaking about Philadelphia. And Saquon Barkley, like, ripping the league up, man.
He has entered the MVP conversation.
He has entered the MVP conversation. He has entered the Eric Dickerson single season rushing conversation. He's entered the 2,000 yards rushing conversation. And that's not taking anything away from Derrick Henry as well. But he is definitely, Barkley himself is definitely electrifying the football gods right now. And definitely the past 10 years since Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Bringing back, the running back. And there's a 2-part question about this. Well, go ahead. What were you about to say?
I was going to say real quick, just imagine if Henry and Barkley continue and go on a run, 100-yard a game run for the rest of this season. We could be looking at 2,000-yard rushes in the season.
I'm glad you said that because that segues to my question. That segues to my question. I used to think that Tom Landry was being a selfish coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
By taking reps away from Tony Dorsett and giving them to Robert Newhouse. Because I believe today when I look at the record books, Tony Dorsett could be higher up the running back mountain because he had that burst of speed. He had power, but he was at that time and even today considered a small back, 5'11".
Small back, yeah.
Saquon 5'10". Nothing against Derrick at 6'4", but 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", but being his size, he also is susceptible for getting hit low. And so I really was against Tom Landry and his style and his use of Dorsett until LaDainian Tomlinson. And I used to watch LaDainian Tomlinson tote the ball and tote the ball and tote the ball. And there's a thing that comes up at the end of each season. It's the playoffs. And so I then started understanding after LaDainian Tomlinson, LT, you're rationing him out for the playoffs. That's why you're not giving him all those carries through the 16 games. So my question to you is, what would you rather have? And I'm not saying, and I'm not wishing any injury or any type of lack of efficiency, but what would you rather have? A 2,000-yard rusher, MVP rusher, rushing title, or a durable, efficient back to carry you through the playoffs that may end at 18, 19 per se? I'm wondering how you feel about that.
I think you can do both. And my example for that is Terrell Davis in his 2,000-yard season. They pulled him out of games early to rest him up and to let other guys get reps. He still hit 2,000 and he was still fresh when they got to the playoffs. Because a running back wants to get carries and he needs to get carries. And he needs to get in and stay in a rhythm. But when the game is iced away, when you got the game, go ahead and you put his backup in. But you also have to have the pieces to allow you to not feed the guy the ball to be ready, fresh for the playoffs. Because the Ravens, let's say the Ravens do that with Derrick Henry. Did they really have another running back who's capable of carrying a load to keep him fresh going into the playoffs? I don't think they do. But I wouldn't. I would want
to win a game. They do have a legitimate running back. Not to say carry the load, right? But to win a game, that all you need to do is just kind of win. You still got Lamar Jackson back.
Yeah, Lamar's not as effective when they don't run it. When they don't pound the rock.
That's what I'm saying. I think you still have. I don't know their second string running back, but he gets in. He gets in pretty much. I see him. And if it's the fear of Lamar doing what he's doing, that guy can get off. It's not the same as Derrick being back there, but it's just. I think if you're playing a lower level team and you're not trying to win,
mm-hmm.
You don't have to beat that team for seeding. You don't have to beat this team to make sure you don't have you stay home or not. I think you could ration that out, but it could be seen the other way too. You can let him get as close to his 2,000 rushing title and then pull him out the game and do that for the rest of the second, third, fourth quarter with your second depth running back. But you bring up Terrell Davis. I don't want you to exclude, because that's a good example. But let's not exclude, he had a short career. Those two good seasons, that 2000 season, the migraines, I can't see. I was getting carries and he said I couldn't even see. So he got bashed in now. Yeah. He didn't have his Hall of Fame career. His based on 3 years?
He had 4,000-yard seasons. He put up 6,000 yards in that. He's 1,000 yards every year until he got hurt.
Out.
And his numbers were going up.
Right.
I believe that, yes, ultimately you want to win. You want to be healthy and ready to rock and roll in the playoffs. And you ask a player that, he's going to want to, of course, he wants to get to 2,000, but he's going to say, yeah, I don't mind if you take a few carries from me to keep me fresh. But it's only but it's kind of hard to truly mandate because something can happen at any time.
Anytime.
But I believe in let them get in there and, hey, like Jimmy Johnson used to say, and Tomlin also has said, hey, you run them till the wheels fall off. I mean, then you get another. But I wouldn't try to cut back on his carries as much because there's nothing saying that cutting back on his carries is really keeping them that much fresher. Because even if he's not getting the carries, he's still banging when he's in there. Because feature backs,
You're
yeah, because
still tech, right?
yeah, because feature backs are in there and they're getting the ball. They aren't
Right.
just in the pass. They aren't pass block. So I would prefer to keep him fresh, but also make sure I got everything out of him for each game. Once the game is in hand, yeah, I'm gonna sit you down, but I'm gonna sit down my other starters also and let
Right.
the backups play.
Right. And they're at the point right now because both of them, Henry and Saquon, calculated they're on pace. I think Barkley is ahead of pace.
Yeah,
And
Barkley's ahead.
yeah, you could say, okay, we'll look at where the game is, game time situation, and I'm just using a number. If you need 115 a game for the rest of the season, when you get 115 and it's like we're good,
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Put you down to calculate you and keep you going. Now, third part of that question is my number one actor, OJ, did it in 14 games. Derrick Dixon did it in 16 games. Does doing it in 17 games for either of those back get an asterisk?
No, because you can't. I don't believe that you penalize a person for excelling within the rules. It's not as if the number of games flip flops back and forth. Because you could do it. Because we talked about this one time before when you talk about OJ with 14 games, and I said looking at number of games to get 2,000 yards, Barry Sanders did it in 14. It was a 16-game season, but he had 2,053 yards. He had 53 yards rushing the first 2 games.
Right.
The next 14, he had 2,000. So, no, I wouldn't put an asterisk by it because that's penalizing a guy for doing his job well, doing his job great, being the rules. Because passing numbers and receiving numbers are going to be a little inflated because you're playing 17 games now instead of 16, instead of 14. So now you can put a little more reverence on the 14 game season for somebody really put up some crazy numbers because, hey man, he did it then. So that's great, but you can't slight the people who came after who did it within their time. Because Charlie Hennigan in the 60s put up 1,600 yards in 14 games as a receiver, 88 or 98 yards, I believe, in the 14 game season. 1,600 yards is great in a 14 game season, 16 game season, 17 game season, hell, a 20 game season. So some numbers are just great regardless of when you do it. So I wouldn't put an asterisk by it because if that's the case, we need to put an asterisk by what quarterbacks and receivers did after starting with the 78 season when pass blocking was changed and when the Mel Blunt rule came into effect. That inflated both of those rule changes, inflated passing numbers. So and receiving numbers. So no, I don't believe in putting an asterisk. I just think if in 2,000 yards, 2,000 yards. I don't care how many games.
A rule. So you're equating a rule to a whole full quarter.
Yeah, because I can't do this. I can't do this 20 yards down the field until the ball is in the air anymore for 4 quarters. After 5 yards, I can't touch you again. Ball's coming. I can't do what I used to do. The quarterbacks, they got better pass blocking because the offensive linemen, instead of just blocking this way in pass blocking, they can extend their arms now. They can extend their elbows and do this. So you got rule changes and an extra 4 quarters. They both have the same impact on the game. It's just they just impacted in a different way.
I got a was Mel Blunt nothing against Mel Blunt, but was Mel Blunt a shutdown corner?
He shut down so much they changed the rule.
So Mel Blunt they stopped the whole side of the field for Mel Blunt.
Yes.
Okay, and the sack record didn't come until when?
Well, they didn't start officially keeping sacks until 82.
82.
But you can look back and Pro Football Reference, they went back all the way to 60 and watched every single game to get accurate sack numbers for every player. And Deacon Jones had a 26 sack season.
And that's my point. Deacon Jones with that type of blocking had 20.
But he also had a head slap. You gotta remember.
Right. My point is, when did the pass blocking affect the defender?
78.
LT came after 78. Strahan came after 78.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie White came after 78. Henley came after 78. So what I'm saying is, like,
shout out to Dexter Manley. Nobody ever talk about him much. Hey, I gotta give you that. Shout out to Dexter Manley.
So these guys still made a level of an adjustment to the rules within 16 games. You know, so that's what I'm saying. You're saying the rule, because DBs they're still a Mel Blunt that it's not as forceful, but there's still people who just can't get past you. You know,
but Mel also delivered a lick.
You get 60 more minutes, and then we're talking defense to offense, but you get 60 more minutes. If I got, like, for instance, imagine if Jamal Lewis had 17.
All right, just for that, let's like I said, Pro Football Reference, they got something. What they've done now, they've extrapolated and showed what your average would be over 17 games.
Over 17.
For all these,
well, they go back and extrapolate that for the old guy.
Yeah,
gotcha.
They do it for everybody. And
I can work with that. I can work with that. All right. Now, speaking of Dexter Manley, I can't say what he was, but he's a former Washington player. The Washington Redskins, the Washington Commanders.
Hey, that's who we played. That's who we played for.
Well,
he didn't play for the Commanders.
That's who we played for, right?
Just like Joe Theismann, he said, "I played for the Redskins. I didn't play for the Commanders." So
right, I call them the Comanches.
They could have done that. They could have done that. They could have used that.
They could have. Come on now, it worked right with him. Hey, shout out to me. Magic, I know y'all hear me. But I understand Commander-in-Chief. But at any rate, they came in. Well, we went it. The Cowboys went into Washington, and probably was one of the ugliest games for 52 minutes.
Yeah, I give you that.
That was one of the most pathetic games for 52 minutes. And then the last 8 minutes, 41 points were scored. Kickoff returns, beautiful. Because even the play by McLaurin,
that
was more run than air.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really made that happen. And then it all still came down to a very undisciplined, and we'll get into that, onside kick that mathematically the young man runs it in, and he still left time on the clock for a guy who actually pulled off a Hail Mary this year.
Yeah.
And that was just one of those games. But you go ahead and just tell me what you thought about that game, and I'll tell you. I'll get back to that point.
I thought it was a terrible game. I thought it should have been flexed to Wednesday night or Tuesday morning. It was horrible, but the ending
in the schedule.
Yeah, the ending, and this is for people of a certain age. You'll know exactly what I mean when I say this. And I wish they bring this back. This would go down on Alcoa's Fantastic Finishes. You remember when they used to do that? Alcoa, the recycling company, and at the end they would show every week.
There's no recycling.
Alcoa present Fantastic Finishes. It will be improbable games that ended in an improbable way. Somebody scores 20 points in the last 2 minutes or stuff like that. And this game fell into that. It was boring up until then.
Yeah.
And I also saw again why I don't like this new onside rule kick. It turns it into a scrimmage game. It turns the kickoff onside kick into a scrimmage play. You don't have it takes the advantage away from the offense, from the kicking team, because you're basically saying, hey, we're gonna attack y'all at noon tomorrow. Okay, y'all ready? Everybody get up, be ready. They're gonna attack us at noon. Okay, we'll be ready. There's no surprise, there's no sneak attack.
Oh, you mean
You got it.
like you can't do anything until he gets the ball, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you can't do anything until he gets the ball, and you have to line up equally. You don't have an onside kick formation anymore.
Right.
And you have to inform the opposing team that you're kicking the onside kick. You can't. So what the Saints did in the Super Bowl when they came out with the onside kick, surprise onside kick, you can't do that now. It's no surprise. You
Right.
tell them. And since everybody's so close, if you get one or two good blocks, the guy's gone because there's nobody back there. There's no waves to run through. Everybody's right up here. It's
Absolutely.
basic. And I mean, I've never seen an ending to a game that way. Not in Madden, not in backyard football, not or nothing. I've never seen anything like that. I thought it was a comedy of errors, to be honest. It
It was
shouldn't even got to that.
definitely a comedy of errors. And just like you said, it could have been it should have been flexed to Wednesday and then stop, pause, and flex to the game of the week for Sunday, for the last 8 minutes. Because that's the excitement that it had, because that thing got a lot of buzz and got a lot of text going, are you watching this? That type of thing.
Mhm.
And of course, a lot of people were watching it because of the rivalry, that Washington and Dallas is. So
Mhm.
I will give it that. But as I was saying, man, we're going to segue into that point. The touchdown at the end with seconds to go, and you still could have scored a touchdown. And I believe at that point, a 2-point conversion to tie it after he runs in for the onside kick recovery. So these are the things mathematically, right? These are the things mathematically that you have to speak to your special teams coach and get your players on the same page, during the game. And that falls from the top. And McCarthy, man, like when I see stuff like that,
Mhm.
I see the most penalized team over the last 2 seasons of this season. I see people who don't hit their gaps the correct way. I see a comedy of errors, and that falls on leadership. Just that one little instance. It was definitely a play that I may have to go back and, because it's definitely I'll say far fetched. But if it comes down to point differentiation to make it in the playoffs, and I doubt it will, looking at the record that they in, okay, it makes sense. You're not in college, so you didn't have to win by a certain margin in order for that play to make sense. You slide. End of game. And you saw how the game was
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And so I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, McCarthy, these are the things that make me say you're just not the man for that team, to go forward. And I know, Jerry still has yet to even make it look as if he's not going to not be there in the future.
Yeah. As far as I know where you're going, but as far as the guy not sliding, it's kind of hard if you don't score much as an individual, and also to give it up,
You
and also and shoot, man, if I score, my contract got an escalator. If I ever get in the end zone, I can get the extra 10,000-20,000.
you know
Let
who
me
the-
get
you know
in.
who the- you know who well, it's a code at the door now. Do you know who would have made sure his punch code didn't work Monday morning?
Ooh,
Jimmy Johnson.
yeah, that's true.
Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
He would have came in there thinking, man, I scored yesterday.
But I think that's also, it's got, like you said, it comes down to coaching. Somebody has to put it in and tell, hey, if you somehow get free and on your way to the end zone, slide, don't score. Because normally, I don't think most players are thinking about that unless you put the bug in their ear. Hey, if you kill the clock, if you slide, hey, we guaranteed to win, as opposed to you scoring and leaving time for them to come back. Oh, okay, I'll be mindful of that if I get an open. So yeah, I haven't heard anything about him being told that he needs to slide. So yeah,
Do you know, and it's funny about that because this is football knowledge right now we're speaking. The announcers and the analysts will give the man that slides out the clock or falls on the ball on the clock. I mean, throughout all the football, high school, college, pro, they will make them the brainiac
yeah,
of the game. Like you, such a smart player. You are not denied. What you got to do, young man, is you got to run that tape back for your son and say, "Look how smart they made me." But I know it's best to say your daddy scored
yeah,
an NFL touchdown. But when that happens and you can slide on the ball and slide the clock out and run the clock out, they always make you look like the buffoon. And you remember? Do you remember? I think it was Dallas. God rest his soul. Marion the Burying Barber.
yeah,
He was going through the hole, and he thought about it too late.
yeah,
And his butt dropped. It dropped down across the plane, and he was trying to stop the clock.
yeah,
Left some time on the clock.
yeah, and they lost. It's counterintuitive to your playing instincts as a player to not score. It's just like when the ball's thrown up on a Hail Mary, you're taught to bat the ball down, but you're a DB. The ball is in the air, is mine. I'm finna pick it off. But something can happen when you try to pick it off and you don't. So it's basically fighting your instinct. If the ball comes to a defensive back, he's trying to intercept it first. Bat it down second. But in Hail Mary, you bat it down first. And if you just happen to pick it off, you pick it off, but you bat it down. Same with slide.
I'm trying to follow you on that parallel, but here's the thing. And don't get me wrong, to all DBs out there, I think your position and tight end position in football is the most skilled position. But there's a reason you play DB, because you're wide receiver.
It is. Yeah.
So when you going up there, you can't catch. You can't. You already. They're the guys. The guys who gonna catch that ball always catch that ball. The guys who miss the catch and always get that batted down. Go look down their career list. See how many IITs they got.
Yeah, but you're taught to bat it down because
bat it down.
Yeah, because every DB feels like they can catch it. And a lot of them got stone hands. Ike Taylor, stone hands, had played 13, 14 years and had 13 interceptions. That was why he was playing defense. But yeah, I just think that, what you were saying about as far as Jerry, somebody needs to come and talk to him and say, look, man, you don't know what you're doing. You need to let me handle this, or get somebody to take care of this, because there's no reason for him right now to be saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility to extend Mike McCarthy.
Well, you know what? Just like I heard, and just like we all know, Jerry is one of those insecure billionaires. The worst thing that could have ever happened to Jerry Jones was he hired Jimmy Johnson and had success early.
Yeah.
Because this is when Jerry didn't know, Jerry didn't know what he thinks he knows about football, so he let a football guy control it and realized that persona was larger than him. And so now Jerry is simply not going to allow a persona to be bigger than his in that locker room, and it's costing him. Bill Belichick may never be there.
No, it ain't happening.
Harbaugh may never be there. This affects him. He needs his players should know this. See, there has to be a science to it. Your players should not know. Oh, I could just go to the Roonies then. Bump you, Coach Tomlin. Your players should know that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going on in Dallas. And that's why I believe, to a degree, Mike McCarthy is the best coach. Remember me? He held on to Garrett for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, he needs that. He needs to be the persona of the team, and will never go anywhere. But now I want to go back a little bit because it was something that I did want to discuss. Because we're bringing up when we were on those running backs. Sorry about that. I didn't bring something up. Henry and Saquon. Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at his numbers, and you were talking about Terrell Davis and his small. And I think LaDainian Tomlinson is a Hall of Famer now, right?
Yeah.
LT in the Hall of Fame. So you don't need championships or Super Bowls to get in the Hall of Fame. We know that. You know, it's numbers and accolades there. I think Henry is a lot. You know, in this era, he's going to, you know, Adrian Peterson ascend on in. But which current running back, you know, and I'll even let you go back 5 years and the guy may not be playing. Looks like he may make it into the Hall of Fame besides Derrick.
Truthfully, unless we go back to guys that played 20, 30, 40 years ago, I think Derrick Henry is the only current running back that we're going to see go into the Hall of Fame for any time for quite some time, who actually would be deserving, not just put in. McCaffrey is not going to do it. He's not going to have the numbers. He's not going to have championships. He's been a good all-around back when he's been healthy, but he's not an all-time back. Saquon is going to go down as being a good running back. He's not going to have the numbers or the production
he'd
to
have to do
warrant getting to the Hall of Fame. Even
right.
for the next 3 years, if he doesn't gain any more yards this year, because I was looking at this today, because I was just saying, okay, it's amazing you asked me that because I was thinking about it today. I was going through it. Saquon needs to put up. He averages 1,100 yards a year over his career.
Correct.
He needs to do that for at least another 4 years to get to 11,000. Because 10,000 isn't the barometer. I think he needs to have at least 11, and he needs to have a few double-digit touchdown years. The only other back I can think of, we know Adrian's going in. We know Henry's going in. The only other back I can think of who has a shot at going in, and it's going to be it was probably going to be keeping them out is how people feel about him or whatnot. But I don't think he's an all-time back. But the way they watering down the Hall of Fame, I think Tiki can get in.
Tiki Barber?
Because he's got 15,000 total yards. He got like 5,000 receiving, 10,000 rushing. So I think that will go into it. And also, Fred Taylor is going to stay on the outside looking in.
You kind of got to, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't think Tiki's getting in. And I don't think Taylor's getting in. I think they're just short. And we talked about them. I know we're going to do it again. But Hall of Fame wise, it's like, I just feel that the Hall of Fame is for guys that are here. I can't. There's been too many guys that were here. Oh, man, he was good. No, you can't. You shouldn't be good and get in the Hall of Fame. You need to be great. Like, okay, we're going outside in the backyard and we're picking teams. Hey, I'm picking him. Not, it's been 30 minutes. What about so-and-so? Yeah, give me him. No, he's got to be people. For me, Hall of Fame is guys that you say, that's who was in there. And like the criteria we did earlier, are you even one of the top 5 players who have played for your franchise?
Right.
If you're not that.
I don't even understand. See, in his bubble, he's going to get in that top 5 area, which creates an argument for him. But that's just a criteria.
Yeah, but I don't think truthfully, if you ask me, and somebody, I know people gonna say, comment second, well, man, you crazy. What? I don't think Derrick Henry is one of the greatest backs to ever play. The package, as far as size, speed, yes, but there's quite a few backs that I will put ahead of him.
See, and I was
Hell
talking
of a
about
back though.
I was talking about Zeke because he can fit a criteria franchise wise that the guys who are franchise still fit the criteria NFL wise. And see, for me, Henry, I'm gonna tell you something about Henry. There's this thing out. Who has the greatest franchise running backs?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And for me, that Houston, Tennessee is tough. It's tough. That's a tough list. That's a tough list, but they bad. You know, because with that's Chris Johnson, Eddie George, Earl
Campbell.
and Derrick.
Yeah.
Then you got the LA Rams.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
They tough.
The thing about the Rams,
tough,
because they got Gurley, and Gurley's career was short, so that could take out something. But if you're talking about prime in their prime, yeah, that's a hard one, dude. That's a hard one, dude.
And prime wise, Gurley got more yards than Steven Jackson, but I think Steven Jackson's yard when he got him was so. And then I think my other one was Kansas City, maybe. I think Kansas City is in there for me too. Kansas City in there, Pittsburgh get in there. But what I'm saying is, like, when I pit those gladiators up against each other and they come out of the arena all in their suits, and for me, Tennessee, Derrick Henry, the weakest link.
Yes.
If I say, okay, which one of these, which out of the Raiders in there too, which one of these great backs will start on all of your era of squads and get you to where you're going? I think Earl Campbell and Eddie George are going to start every time. Franco Harris going to start every time. I'm going to put Roger Craig over McCaffrey every time. And then I'm going to put Williams. Ricky Williams?
Ricky Williams.
Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters, yeah.
Over him,
over him, yeah.
The weakest link. Come on, CK2K better than
Flash. It would be CJ2K because of that speed. But Henry is a breakaway. Henry is the second biggest breakaway back they've had.
With him 99. You're right.
And also, I would have to say Henry, as far as skills, and as far as being a running back, over Eddie George. Because Eddie didn't put up those kind of numbers with him that Henry got. And Eddie wasn't a big touchdown guy, and Eddie averaged less than 4 yards a carry. I would take.
Maybe I'm thinking about the way Eddie took over that second half in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, and then I might be throwing Eddie. I might be throwing Ed College in there too, because I think Eddie won the Heisman over Keyshawn.
Yeah.
So I might be giving Eddie the full resume.
Yeah. But you got to remember, Derrick won a Heisman too. So
Derrick won a Heisman too.
Yeah.
CJ2K the only one in the crew with the 2,000 yards.
No, Henry got the 2,000, but Derrick Henry, yeah. But CJ
Henry does have 2,000. Okay. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, and remember, CJ is the only one of those three without a Heisman, if you're gonna talk about college.
CJ is the only one of the three without the Heisman, of the four.
Yeah.
Because Earl got the Heisman in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The weakest link is Lindell White. The weakest link is Lindell White. Lindell, you made the list. But at any rate, Derrick, we didn't take you out of the Hall of Fame, but it is that thing that you project. Now, moving right along.
I mean, how are you sorry all the time? It makes no sense.
Funny,
I don't get it.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know, but I think we're at a point right now where sorry is expected, but we're not even giving you underwhelming anymore. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
really need to start producing. Underwhelming is us for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
The fans don't even want to be teased no more. You know, you've gotten to a point where, oh, we know what's going to happen. That ain't cool.
Yeah.
But at any
It's
rate,
not good.
you spoke of LA and you did speak of the Lakers, and I just want to bring up the fact that I'm going to ask you what you think about Bronny's son. Does he not want to fly commercial? Or I know he's not going to the away game.
Yeah. He's not flying commercial, and he's not staying at the
At that,
Courtyard Marriott. Yeah. And I mean, some people say, well, you know, his dad's a big celebrity, and it's because no, you got security and everything else with these teams. You need to be, and you aren't an elite player at your job right now. You need to be getting in there, working, grinding, just like everybody, because you're no different from anybody else in the G League on that team. The only difference is your last name is James, and you grew up with a platinum spoon in your mouth. But you are not an elite player right now. You need to be doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. Traveling with the team, bonding with the team, working and getting better. Why are you too good to travel on a commercial airline? Yeah, why are you too good to stay at the Courtyard?
And it's not even that bad. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not the Lakers. But I'm sure I'm almost positive for insurance purposes, their security, it's not that
Yeah.
bad.
Right.
It does boil down to a possibility of this is my child preference thing. And I'm gonna tell you, I look at this from two standpoints, two perspectives. I hear that the games are selling out.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to see Bronny, or are they going to see if Bron is being a father watching his son? Because
Probably
they're
a little
making
bit
it
of both.
Bronny is the one selling out the ring.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. All right, because the young man in his own right is by his father's fame is his own little superstar.
Mm-hmm.
So, humble as he says the kid is, now's the time for you to father that humility. Because okay, guess what? You got him a job. We know you got him a job. You say he can play. Then you flip it and say, hey, the 33rd pick or whatever the pick was, 53rd pick, whatever the pick was, they get 3 years. But then you allow him to be treated like a rock star.
Right.
Like pick and choose which one you want, man. You know, because this sometimes it's the sleeping on that hard bed, riding on that bus for that long trip that makes you say, I got to get up off this bus. I need to be on charter flights. And the only way to do that is get in the gym.
Yeah, and get better. And
get better.
And two different sports, same, but also all-time great player playing basketball. Then he goes to baseball. Michael Jordan traveled on the minor league bus. He didn't get the special treatment playing on.
I knew he was hitting 222. Exactly.
Yeah. He did the same thing that all those other guys did. And if Jordan does it, again, it's a different sport. If Jordan did it, there's no way in hell that Bronny shouldn't be doing it.
Minor league is minor league.
Yeah.
Jordan, how about this? Primetime Dion and Bo Jackson. Right? I bet they would have did it too. I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Because they didn't just go to the majors. But my point
started off.
These are professional athletes who, this is where my skill level is right now, so I got to go play with the farm league, and I got to go be with the farm league. Daniel Jones,
he might be starting for y'all on Thursday.
I heard we were gonna give him a chance, man. I really heard we were gonna give him a chance. which doesn't say a lot about Trey Lance. Because that right there, if you let Daniel Jones come in and get packages before you, that's not. But Daniel Jones was up earlier this week, and it was actually inevitable. You know, I saw a segment where they were giving all the picks that came. Woo! I laugh about this a little harder because it's the Giants. You know, that's you know, so that's just what I want. What you think about Daniel Jones release, man? No, you know what? No. Don't even talk about that. I got one for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop you right there. We're not gonna talk about Daniel Jones release. We're gonna talk about the teams in New York. And when we talk about the football teams in New York, because you brought up a question. This is actually Tank's question. Do you think when teams, NFL teams, are just constantly, because we know the New York Jets in there, and the Giants, even though y'all had this little fluke of a playoff situation 2 years ago, what you did with Saquon and what he doing, you know, but before that, do you think that the NFL itself as an entity, you know, the corporate office should step in, you know, to say, hey man, you know, what's going on with your franchise, man? We're going to babysit y'all for the next 2 years. Y'all on probation. We got to step in because we're putting out bad product.
I think they do, because there's no reason why a franchise should be garbage year after year after year after year after year. When there's revenue sharing, there's a salary cap. Nobody has more money to spend than anybody else because we all got the same amount. You're sorry every year, so you're getting high draft picks year after year after year. There's no reason why the Jets should be sorry all the time. There's no reason why the Raiders should be sorry all the time. Just damn percentages, man, numbers. You have to be working to be that bad for that long all the time. It doesn't make sense. I'm not saying you need to rise up and be a dynasty, but there's no reason why you should be going 15, 14 years without making a playoff. There's no reason why every franchise shouldn't have at least made it to a Super Bowl at least once. It's been 50 some, 56, 57 of them. You trying to tell me you couldn't be good enough? Yeah, you couldn't be good enough to even fluke your way into one. And I'm talking just Super Bowls. I'm not talking about pre-Super Bowl era. But yeah, I think the NFL, the owners who are winning, they don't care because they don't want you to win no way. But they should step in. But I think someone should step in. Hey, we're gonna put a special liaison to help you with the draft, to figure out why you keep drafting people like Daniel Jones, Cobra Kai, Zach Wilson. Why Sam Darnold was trash with this organization, but now he's bounced around. Now he's in Minnesota and he looks like a competent quarterback. Why can't Carolina? Why y'all can't get it together? You know, it makes no sense. I think they should step in and be like, hey, look, we're gonna help you. We're gonna guide you through this for like 2 years or whatnot to see if we can get some.
Let me interject here. Right? Because there are 3 franchises. One you're talking about. 3 franchises that are they're kind of like the inelastic good. Like no matter what, win or lose, they're going to generate revenue, and that's the Cowboys, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Giants. $1.1 billion in 2023, $411 billion for the Raiders in 2023, and $392. Trash. 12-5 is trash. You know, and I'm gonna say for all 3 of them, when you have the when you're at a level of tradition, 3-5-5. No, 3-4-5. I think Super Bowl.
Yes.
And you're a high marking brand because New York, the Giants are the brand of New York. The Jets are just holding on to the spirit of
name.
And what they did against the Colts. But going back to my point, I think those teams who can't get it up, Arizona, Carolina, when you find yourself falling into that, you should be penalized, and then your draft pick goes to revenue, because Dallas would appreciate that, because they can't seem to pick a good that 21st pick, 22nd pick, first round, productive but not a star. Vegas has unfortunate situation.
They just terrible. They're just terrible.
They're just terrible, and they have some unfortunates in their organization, but they would definitely benefit from, okay, certain teams, when you're not getting it right and we have to probation you and cover you, we're going to take from you and we're going to give you that franchise's pick, because it's been 2 years. You got 2 number 1 picks over there. You're about to give one away, and you're going to end up giving another one away. How about you're going to have to give your pick up to highest revenue guy this year, and you may get it back, because the reason you're not a high revenue guy is you have to win, and that's what we're trying to do. That's the whole parity side of this.
Yeah. The Lions, up until Dan Campbell got there, would have fallen into that situation.
Falling into that situation, exactly. So we have to figure out, and we don't know if this is a 2-year thing. We don't know, and Dan Campbell may fall right back into the, So it has to be some kind of balance, because and I'm saying that because the NFL product is getting a little. You're depending on people who just love football, but your product ain't really there. And the reason I'm saying that is the NBA was dependent on people who just love basketball, and then the product just went down and down and down, and now the viewership is down. So I'm just telling you to be careful how you are, because the entertainment front has been spread. People don't necessarily have to watch you to watch you. I can just go watch the highlights. You need us to watch you at 1:00 and watch all those commercials.
I think that it's just, there's too much talent all around in order for you to be, how bad you got to be sorry every year. Like the Jets, previously like the Lions, like the Raiders. I remember there was a joke. I remember this was I don't even want to say how long ago it was, but Arsenio Hall had a joke, was talking about basketball. And he was talking about the Lakers. I understand LA, this and the other. He said, he was talking about when you go see the Lakers, this was when Showtime was big, and you got Magic and everybody, they're winning and it's crowded. It's hard to find a seat. And then his joke was, I went one time to watch the Clippers play, and everybody busted out laughing, because he was like, there was plenty of room and everything. He said, and his thing, he said, where can you find 5 black men that can't play basketball? And that's how I feel as far as certain teams. It's like, how can you not find 22 grown men who played in college, D1, P5 schools, they can't play professional football at least a decent level to be competitive? Right.
They did not use their celebrity status, and I'm using Prime and Bo because they were just actually down there getting reps.
Yeah,
they knew they needed to get the at-bats and the reps to get it. I can play in the majors, but I kind of got to get these reps in first. I got to get my muscles right down here and loosen up. Jordan is a different story, but Bo and Dion were Major League Baseball players. Shout out to Brian Jordan. I can cross over to this league, no problem. And then Dion Prime took it even further with the helicopter to the game. But it's like, even they didn't use their all-star power and accolades to make themselves better than the level that they had to start from.
Right. They did. They started and they did the natural progression for where their skill level was at that particular time. Exactly. And that's what Bronny needs to do. Okay, you working in the gym and this and that, that's great, but you need to go through and do the whole experience, because There's a thing called
That's what
there's a
people
thing
believe
called
on
being
you. But you know what? Bronny, I don't think his daddy believes in that old school building process. We are talking about somebody. We are talking about somebody that said, "I'm a franchise player, and I'm just not gonna wait my turn until the draft falls my way, and then I'm gonna go win championships." So we already see where that come from. Now, speaking of prime, we talked about I saw an old baby picture of Deion Sanders Jr., little bucket, man, looking like baby Shiloh. But there was some news today that was aired in regards to the Thorpe Award finals, where we didn't see, just like I said, Maxwell Award, Biletnikoff Award. I think it was
Bednarik, the Maxwell, I believe. Yeah, Maxwell.
Derrick, and Biletnikoff, all finalists. But Travis Hunter will not be one of the 3 finalists for the Jim Thorpe Award. And if those of you who do not know what the Jim Thorpe Award is, it is the award given to the best defensive back in college football for that year.
Snubbed. Think that he was snubbed. Deion's mad, and Deion said, it's idiotic, and it should go to. He'll give Travis his award, but the other 3 DBs, the 3 DBs who were nominated were from University of Texas, Jabbar Barron, Caleb Downs from Ohio State. I'm sorry, the Ohio State, and from the University of Georgia. I can't read my right, but what's the name? Starks.
Right.
And all of them have interceptions. Not Caleb. They all have more tackles combined more tackles than Travis. They have interceptions. No, the one has one, but the interception leader in the college this year has 7. I can't remember his name right now, but he wasn't nominated. And people are upset about Deion's upset. I looked in some groups and people saying it's Colorado hate because he didn't. My thing is this: you can be the best defensive player in the league in the country, but not be the best player and not be considered the best defensive back in the country. The 2 aren't synonymous. But just like I can be the best quarterback in the league in the country, but I might not win the Heisman as the best player. I'm not saying Travis shouldn't be included in it, but I understand why he's not included. I mean, there are other DBs who had just as good a year. And also, you got to remember, people aren't watching a lot of these voters aren't watching all these games. They're looking at stats. Man, he ain't got but 30 tackles. He ain't got but 3 interceptions. How good is he? This guy's got 51 tackles. This guy's got passes broken up. This guy's got an interception return for a touchdown.
And remember, ladies, for all of your comfort and around-the-house wear, lingerie, comfy clothes, make sure you visit quickvisits.com. That's QUIKVISITS.com for all of your lounge wear, lingerie wear, sport wear, workout wear, athletic wear. Make sure you go to quickvisits.com. They'll be there for you, and you'll love that. I tell you.
He has interceptions and 51 tackles against.
Yeah, who he's playing against.
Right.
So it's not that they're snubbing him or that they got Colorado hate. It's just there are other things that factor into it. And also a lot of people are just buying into, because why do we talk about Travis being the best player or he should win the Heisman?
The marketing.
It's not just because we watch, because a lot of people aren't watching as much, but you're always told that he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's a Muhammad Ali, and this isn't taking anything from Ali, but we call him the greatest. Why? Not just because of the things that he did, but because after he knocked out Liston, I believe it was Liston, the first, what did he say? I must be the greatest. I shook up the word. I must be the greatest. He named himself the greatest.
At that time, he just told himself,
yeah,
I wasn't supposed to be Liston because, Liston was a bad man.
Yeah, I beat him. I must be the greatest. And it stuck because he kept telling you he was the greatest.
Who said that?
No,
Okay.
it's so again, that's not taking anything from Ali, but when
Right.
if you
Point.
name yourself something and then you go and you perform well enough, just people say, okay, I can see that. We keep seeing, think about it, the highlights that you see of Travis generally are offensive, but defensively he's not picking the ball off much. Yes, they're staying away from him, but he's not. His hands aren't getting on touching the ball much. So it's like, how good is he? I'm not saying he's not. I'm not taking it away from him, but when people looking, they don't see him picking passes off. They don't. Well, let me see his stat. Oh man, he ain't picked no balls off. Oh, he got another 100 yards receiving. Oh, he got 8 catches. Oh, he got 2 touchdowns. Man, he must be one of the best receivers in the league, in the country. It's marketing. It's not, and it's not. You can't slight everybody else just because we just think he's better. Is he gonna win the Heisman? I think there's a good chance. But if he doesn't win the Heisman, I don't think he got slighted, especially if Genty wins it, because you can't take away what he's doing either. So, or Ward is still in the running. You can't take away from what he's doing.
Genty on his way to getting the record too. Like we can see running backs at college and the pros, do the thing, Yeah, absolutely. Ward is on the way too. But go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with him not getting nominated. Because hey, you got 5, you're nominated for 5 awards. That's just like you getting mad because you got nominated for 8 Grammys. You won 8, including Album of the Year, but you mad because you didn't get Song of the Year.
Beyonce.
You got Album of the Year. Why are you complaining about not getting Song of the Year?
And you had
he's nominated. Yeah, he's nominated for 5. He's nominated for 5 other awards, and it's gonna be 6 when the Heisman comes around. So why are you complaining that he didn't get nominated for Best DB? And if he gets nominated for Best DB and he doesn't win, you're gonna be pitching the fit about that. He can't win everything. He won't win everything, and he shouldn't. But he's gonna win.
I'm gonna tell you something. You say he's gonna win something, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. It's 2 things with me. I think, and boy, that's my boy. Love me some Coach Prime. Love me some Neon Dion. That's my guy. I think when he sleep on it, his because I think when he said it in the interview, he just
got the news. Yeah.
And The Wire made him. Let me tell you something, man. This for me. You have to understand what's going on. When Travis get an interception, when Travis score a touchdown, what pose is he doing? He's doing the Jim Thorpe pose. So the way I'm looking at it is, this company is sponsored by, like, Jim Thorpe family ain't.
Yeah.
It's Paycom.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Paycom is, but it's corporation. You ain't even advertising me. And I'm not saying the other guys are. But you're telling me, like, you could have got in the end zone and did you could have did a Bolitnikoff for one of your things. You could have did the helmet on the side for the Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
You could have did a John W. Heisman. Whatever bet Derrick is. You're only promoting in an era of promotion and in a situation that we're talking about you because of promotion, 1 trophy.
Yeah,
Historically, that's what you did. Sometimes I think people get in their feelings. I'm just being honest. The Jim Thorpe Award probably is making more news that you're not in here than it would if you were. And then 2, I was looking at Jim Thorpe, right? Jim Thorpe is this baseball player, running back, defensive back, man of all sports, right? So he's more Travis Hunter type than the finalists themselves. But
The
Dion,
O'Brien Award. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
oh,
The O'Brien Award or the Maxwell Award. That's the one that goes to the best all-around player. That's the one that he should be
that's the
saying,
one he
hey,
should be.
yeah,
And that's what I'm saying. Like the names are so weird because Jim Thorpe was an all around guy. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But it's a DB award, right? So I guess
Mm-hmm.
he was the best DB. But Prime said something. And then I went back to that pay-com thing. And then I went back to the media votes on this. And then I went back to who is the media now? It's not the newspapers. It's not the sports writers. They're on the area that we're on. Everybody has a platform now, Prime. So, Prime, this is what I got to say to you. Tell them people to rent due. Jim Thorpe couldn't backpedal in his best state. Jim Thorpe couldn't even get down there and do Lester. Hey, you say you're going to give, because I heard it in your voice. You say you're going to give Travis your Jim Thorpe Award because it's sitting on your trophy case getting dusty. Keep your Jim Thorpe Award, Prime. Go to the store and go make a Deion Sanders Award. They need to rename it anyway. Get in this era. Show you're upset. And give Travis a Deion Prime Time Best DB in College Football Award. And who gonna argue with you? Who gonna argue that you're not the best DB all time? It's an argument, but who gonna argue with you? Get a platform behind you. Get the little peanut company. You got the sunglasses. Get them to back you.
Get the Prime Award for the best cornerback.
Give yourself the prime. That's the same thing you said. I'm going to give him my Jim Thorpe Award with my name on it because mine getting dusted. No, keep yours and give him the first annual Prime Time Shutdown, whatever you were, corner award, and no one's going to argue that award should not be named after you. And then take precedence over what Jim Thorpe Award is claiming themselves to be. Just do it.
Yeah. And the thing about it, people got to remember, the Jim Thorpe Award is awarded to the best DB, not the best corner.
Cornerback.
It's the best corner and the best safety. So the best DB. And I'm sure the argument is because you got two safeties on the corner. You got two safeties on the corner. There's an argument saying so-and-so is better as a safety than he is as a corner.
Exactly. Corners don't become safeties until they become older in the NFL. Remember, Ronnie Lott started out as a corner.
Right.
So
I think it's too. I think he's making as much ado about nothing. Now, if he wasn't
you're making much ado about nothing, but if you're going to do something, but hey, it's a molding of some bronze, man. You call the company, hey, make me a Prime Award. Give it the little bus with your little hat, have it doing your little dance. Whatever the case may be. No.
And just make sure you don't have the guy. Just make sure the sculptor isn't the one who did the Dwayne Wade trophy sculpture. Man, somebody need to blow that thing up, man.
Hey, hold on. Make sure it isn't the one who did the Dwayne Wade trophy, but you can make it the size of the Allen Iverson.
Man, they need to give an award to that. That is the ugliest damn sculpture. Trophy statue I've seen of any individual. He does look like the zombie from I Am Legend.
Yeah, he wanted it. He wanted it in action, but he ended up on. I don't know, man. I don't know. And and speaking of setting your own standard and going your own way, made me think about a hit refresh moment. So now I'm about to hit the refresh button. Because here's what's happened. I'm going to start out with Kendrick Lamar setting his own standard. He put out the album Generation X or GNX. I don't even know what it means. I say GNX. But it's not about his album as much as his new streams and CD, as much as it is about him breaking away from his label, the Norm, to become a CEO of his own movement as he moves into, and he put out a lot of new artists in there. And they are going into that little area. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because Atlantic Records, who possibly are under some hard times, have gotten rid of I think 71 people total, including
Mm-hmm. 50.
it's 51 artists and some staff members. New CEO comes in and he's changing the wave of Atlantic Records to keep them bringing it back. And we talking about a 70-something-year-old company, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just the changing of the guard in this new era. So like what do you think about what's going on with that, Tank?
I'm hoping that he's gonna give it, because there's no artist development anymore. There's no A&R. There's no they don't produce albums anymore. It's everybody's putting out a single, and they're signing all these. You look at all those artists they're releasing. These are guys who they found online who had a buzz because they had one viral song, so they want to ride the wave instead of producing and getting an actual album. And it used to be your album was generally gonna be no skips. Everything wasn't capable of being a single, but everything was something you wanted to hear. These days, you got it's the era of singles. Oh, he got a single. He got a single. She got a single. There's very few albums that come out that people are saying, "Oh man, that was a good album."
Singles.
Hopefully, he's gonna go back to A&R. He's gonna go back to producing. He's gonna go back to signing artists who have actual talent and who are gonna put out a complete project instead of just single, and the buzz is gone. So I'm thinking that's what he's doing, and hopefully, he's cleaning the slate. He's trimming the budget, of course, and if by trimming the budget and some of the employees and those artists, maybe he will bring in groups, bring in artists who are actual artists, allow them to create and start putting out a quality product again instead of this stuff. I mean, there's a few people out now who I've downloaded their projects for the album, but for the most part, if I don't hear it, for the most part, there's nobody that I really want to hear other than if they had that one song, and most of it is trash anyway. I mean, I don't want to be get off my lawn guy, but most of it is. And hopefully this is a move to try to meld what's going on now with what used to work and find a happy medium. So I'm hoping that's what he's doing.
Let me tell you a little bit about what you're saying, because I'm tell you what I heard, because I agree with everything you're saying, with the exception of this. You're giving them too much credit for a single. You are talking about maybe the era of 10, 15 years ago, you could get a single out of it. Now, you get a TikTok. Not even a single. You're getting a TikTok. And I'm going to tell you why. At the beginning of, and I brought up Kendrick Lamar's album, right? Debbie Deb, at the beginning of Not Like Us video, Kendrick Lamar comes out with, when I hear music, and I hear it, I was arguing with a guy on, because he thought it was an original beat, and I knew the guy was younger than our generation. But I said, man, that beat hard, right? And all he played was a snippet. And I'm like, oh, I got to hear that when it comes out. And that actually ends up on the album. I think the song is called Squabble Up or something like that. Well, here's the thing. Squabble Up come out, he messed up the beat. He should have stayed in that little pocket and kept it looped. Debbie Deb, you still got your song. You still number one. Squabble Up did not take ownership of the beat and turn it into, it's still when I hear music, it makes me dance. Because the producer, I'm sorry, you messed that beat up. You had a good beat. You messed it up. Kendrick, lyrically, what you did with that song, with that beat? Because Debbie Deb didn't even say too much, but she told a story. The song's whack. You had the beat right in your hand. You had an alley-oop. And I don't want to hear nothing about that. I'm a West Coast fan. I'm a West Coast fan, West Coast music. You fumbled the ball on that one. It was an alley-oop. You had me fooled at the beginning of Not Like Us. That was an alley-oop, man. You missed it. But my point is this. I finally heard the full version of Let 'Em Cook by Glorilla. I'm a
Mhm.
beat chaser. That little snippet on TikTok and what they be
Yeah.
playing when they go through these little stars, that's the best beat in the world. The song, that song trash. That ain't Glorilla. Let 'Em Cook as a song. Like if I would have heard a snippet of I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. And
Yeah.
then I heard the whole song, loved it. If I would have just heard a snippet of nothing but a G thing, but the whole song, I loved it. Y'all can't even get to the snippets. Y'all got 25 seconds of music, and you're not even doing 8 minutes Brothers Johnson stuff. You're not even doing 3
Yeah.
minutes old school rap. You can't even get a full song. Hold on. You can't even get a full song for what you're doing today. And I'm telling you to hold on because of this point. You wanna know why? Because it is. Russell is hoping that this guy's gonna put together a team that does this and does that. The reason these songs are like this is because the people who are structuring and finding these artists aren't fully developed themselves.
True.
You're finding an artist who sung it in her room or in the shower, put it on the little Fruity Pebbles or whatever they're using now, and you thought, oh, I could put some beats together and TikTok my way to that. You're not finding that girl in the church. That girl is not even being trained in the church. You got R&B singers coming from the strip club. They ain't
Mhm.
saying nothing wrong with the strip club. I'm just talking about the octaves in church. I just ain't it. They're not at the strip club. You're not going to be a tenor. You're not going to find out you soprano. You're not going to find out you alto. In the strip club, you don't know your range. So the people, A&R, talent, they're not even fully developed to find the talent that you're asking to be your office people bad. So I don't know what you're hoping he's gonna do because the professionals that they have in the office that handle all the back stuff can't even do their job well.
Yeah. Another thing, you talking about me when you said making TikTok moments and
Okay.
they can't even make a long song or whatnot. They can't. And it's also this generation or who music is a young person game. That's who they focus on. They don't worry about people who are seasoned and like to hear music. My son, when we sit around, he's shaving my hair or whatnot, and he's playing his stuff. I ain't gonna call it music. He's playing his stuff. You don't hear the whole thing. 30, 45 seconds of it, then he skips
He's
to the
going to the
next.
next part.
Gets to the next one. Gets to the I asked him one time, why don't you let a song play? Well, I don't want to hear all that. Because it's trash.
It's
And
trash.
that's what they're putting out, and that's what they're marketing for. And their brains, they all have ADD. Listen to a song that's 5 minutes long and it's good. They can't comprehend that. Like, man, it's been going on so long, but is it good? It's been going on too long. Why? I could listen to 4 songs in that period of time. They need to get back fully, and like I said, it probably ain't gonna happen. He needs to get some developed and more seasoned people to help develop
You mean
the
so?
artists and also
Yeah.
take time. Don't be worried about, oh, I signed them yesterday. I need a project out next week. No, I signed them yesterday, and it might be a year before something comes out. And I'll tell you, somebody who's doing that, and it's made. I think if I ever get a chance to talk to him, I'm gonna ask him. Snoop with the Death Row Records, the work that he's doing with October London. I mean, you wouldn't think, but I think Snoop, if he could, he would have been a singer. Because Snoop loves music. He loves.
He got an ear
Yeah.
just like Dre does. And he
Yeah.
probably been tutored by him, so everything ain't gonna hit with him. So when it hit,
Yeah.
exactly.
And if you hear any of October London's music, you like, man, this is quality, and you wouldn't think it coming from Snoop and from Death Row, but the quality and it's developed. And just like I don't know if you've heard LL's album Force.
Right. I did.
Man, it sounds. It just sounds. It sounds.
It's sonically pleasing.
Yeah. That's the first album that I've heard, a rap album I've heard that I could listen to just the music without the lyrics.
Exactly.
I mean, it's that good. When you first put it in, you're like, what the world? And it's not 30 seconds. It's the whole thing. And so
it make you think that shout out to anybody. I'm not dogging them out, but I think the strip club DJ is the music producer, because
yeah,
the same way they be switching the song up in 30 seconds and you on another thing.
Yeah.
The kids they only know I'm only good with that one little snippet.
Yeah.
The whole song trash.
Wait a minute, why you still playing it?
The bridge was trash. It was just trash. I'm like, dang, this the song? I can't dance the full thing to this. I'm hurt.
It's horrible, but hopefully it'll be that person can start a shift. I would hope that, because record labels in themselves are like a dying breed, and it's gotten to the point because there's no money in music other than touring or getting endorsements, because that's what they do. They want to tour and they want to get an endorsement.
Tour, you want to see an act,
right?
And that's all a part of development too.
Yeah, you want to see an act, you want to see a show, you want to dress like you came to impress me, not wearing the same thing that I'm wearing.
Hey, they putting out the R&B girl. I come from the old school. Check this out. I come from the school, and I still remember this school, where the R&B girl who started out in church, her next job, how she got on the road, and she left her daddy and mama in the church. She was a backup singer.
Yep.
2 years on the road with the person in front. Then she came out. Teddy had to physically put the baritone of heaven on Harold Melvin. And Harold Melvin had to back up.
Yeah, I mean, before that, Teddy, you playing the drum.
You playing the drums.
Jeffrey Osborne. Jeffrey, you playing the drum.
And drum. Rick, you over there playing bass for me. so all that's a part of development. They throwing these people out in front. They don't even know how to do nothing but get on stage and smoke.
Yeah, no showmanship. Nothing that you walk away saying, man, that was a nice step right there.
I hate to sound like the old dude, but
yeah, you need showmanship.
The product is not the money. The money can't knock the money, but they paying for anything. You coming out your pocket for your son for anything. But at any rate, man, it's been a wonderful show. From hit refresh to no jazz, from no jazz to hit refresh. I want to thank you all for coming out, and make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you comment.
Make sure you share.
Make sure you share. Follow us on X, No Jazz Show. TikTok, and I was just dogging TikTok, and I be doing the same thing, but it's a strategy. No Jazz Show. YouTube, No Jazz Show. That's NOJASSSSSSHOW. Then on Instagram at NOJ.A.S.S. No Jazz Show. Follow us. Join us. Everybody on Facebook that's been posting with us and commenting on the posts. Shout out to you guys for giving us that support. Thank you. We're growing. Everything is good. And with that being said, I'm going to wish you all a farewell. Tan, you want to salute these people?
Enjoy your Thursday. Make sure you eat too much, because and maybe your turkey will put you to sleep so you ain't got to watch them sorry Cowboys.
You know what, man? And that's a good thing, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays to everyone. I didn't forget about the holidays, but happy holidays to everyone. Once you finish eating, traditionally, you get to watch two teams that play every Thursday. And it's crazy that the Detroit Lions
are
the good team you'll be watching. There's been No Jazz.
watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at noj.a.s.s. Follow us on Facebook on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.